Number 4, tell whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. What we need to do is find the slope of each line. The slope of line 1 can be found by starting with -1 and subtracting -4. That goes back to the y2 minus y1 from the previous problem. The bottom of the fraction is x2 8 minus x1, which is -4. Both of these negatives can be turned into pluses. We end up with 3 over 12, which equals 1 over 4. Remember, we always want slopes in simplest form. The slope for line 2, -6 minus -7 on top of 4 minus 0. The solution to this is also 1 over 4. Because the slopes are the exact same, these lines are parallel. If the slopes were opposite reciprocals, they would have been perpendicular. That means one is positive, one is negative, and then whatever fraction the first one is, you'd flip it over to get the second one. If we had two numbers that were neither exactly the same nor opposite reciprocals, our answer would be neither. Number 5 asks us to graph the equation -1/4 x plus 4. We always start graphing with the y-intercept at +4. The slope of this line is -1/4, which means down 1, right 4 to put the second dot. Once you have two dots, you can draw your line through them. Number 6 asks us to graph y equals -3. That means that we start with a -3 on the y-axis, and we draw a straight line horizontally. What's important to note is that no matter what your x value is, no matter how far left or right you go, you always have to count down 3 for the y value. Everywhere you go on this line, y is -3. If it helps, you can put a couple of extra points on there and write the coordinate for them. You just want to make sure that everywhere you go, y is -3. Lines that say x equals would go up and down. Number 7, 2x plus 3x equals 12. We're asked to find intercepts. To find the x-intercept, we take the x part of the problem and set it equal to the answer. So 2x equals 12. And then we solve it. Divide by 2, the x-intercept is 6. To find the y-intercept, we take the y part, which should say 3y equals 12, and we solve it. In this case, y equals 4. Once we know the intercepts, we can graph them. X equals 6, y equals 4, and draw a line through them. The x-intercept will always go on the x-axis. The y-intercept will always go on the y-axis. It's important to remember with these problems, if you had something like 2x minus 3y equals 12, you would have to remember that that negative sign stays with the 3.